Pre-statistics. Function notation, part 2. Lesson objectives. Use function notation. Find inputs and outputs of a function. Using a graph to find values of x or f of x. Given the graph f of x, find f of 1. So this means we go to the x-axis where x is 1 and we look for the value of y, which in this case is 2. Given the graph of f of x, find f of x equal to 0. F of x is y, so y is 0 here and here. So when x is negative 4.5 and when x is 6, f of x equals 0. Example 5. Graph of a function f is sketched. Number 1, find f of 4. Number 2, find f of 0. Number 3, find x when f of x equals negative 2. Number 4, find x when f of x equals 0. So number 1, find f of 4. So we go to the x-axis where x is 4, and then we look for the y value on this graph, and we see that it's 3. So f of 4 equals 3. To find f of 0, we want to know what is the y value when x is 0, and that is 1. Number 3, we're finding an x, and we know that f of x equals negative 2. So we go to negative 2 on the y-axis. Here's where this point is. We want to see what is this x value, and that x value is negative 6. So when x is negative 6, f of x is negative 2. Number 4, we want to find an x when f of x equals 0. When f of x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, and we see that when y is 0, x is negative 2. Example 6, we'll answer each of these series of questions. This is your first example of what's called a piecewise function. It's where you have different functions that are pieced together. So the first question is this relation a function? The answer is yes. There's only one tricky part here, and that's this part. We have an open circle, then we have a dot, then we have an open circle. So when x is 1, we don't use this value, we don't use this value, we use this value of y, which is 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. So this is a function. It passes the vertical line test. What is the domain? So if you recall, the domain is all the x values that have a spot on this graph. So if we think about our pencil being on the x-axis, we're going to slide this along this function, and we see what x values have a spot on this graph. And the domain is all values from negative 2 to 5, and we have a closed circle here at negative 2, so it can equal negative 2, and we have one here at 5, so it can equal 5. In interval notation, we would say bracket negative 2, comma 5 bracket. What is the range? If you recall, the range are the possible y values. So we take our pencil and we put it on the y-axis, and we move it up the y-axis, and we want to know what values of y are covered. So from -2 up to 4. Now, y does not equal 4, so we don't put an equal to sign here. -2 does have a spot, a closed circle on this graph, so it is included in the range. What is f of 0? When x is 0, what's the value of y? And we see from the graph it's 3. What is f of -2? When x equals -2, what is the value of y? It looks like 1. What is f of 1? This is this tricky part where we say this value, this closed dot. So it's 3. What is x when f of x equals -2? So we go to -2 on the y-axis, and we see that x will be equal to 5. Where is this function increasing? So that's a positive slope. So all values from here up to here. Where is f of x decreasing? That means a negative slope. And we see from here on down. Where is f of x positive? That's above the x-axis. So that's going to be all x values from -2 all the way up to 3. Now we can put an equal sign here on -2 because when x is -2, y is a positive number. But we don't include it on the 3 because when x is 3, y is 0, and 0 is not positive. Where is f of x negative? That's below the x-axis. So we see that's from 3 to 5. Finding intercepts. Example 7. Find the indicated intercept of the graph of f of x equals 2x minus 6. Number 1, the x-intercept. Number 2, the y-intercept. So if you recall, to find the x-intercept, we let y be 0 and we solve for x. So f of x is the same thing as y. So we have 0 equals 2x minus 6. We add 6 to both sides. And we have 6 equals 2x, divide by 2. And we see that the x-intercept is 3. To find the y-intercept, if we notice that f of x equals 2x minus 6 is in the form of f of x equals mx plus b, b is the y-intercept. So in this case, the y-intercept is -6. We could also let x be 0 and solve for y. So that'll be 2 times 0, which is 0 minus 6. We get the same answer. Thanks for watching.